guys, welcome to another episode of Tea from the Galaxy, a thirst-quenching podcast for the girls, gays, theys, and astrology baes, where we talk about anything and everything through an astrological lens. I just really wanted to yap with you guys and talk about some really gay shit, okay? I feel like we haven't talked about gay shit in a while on my podcast, and I want to keep it queer on here, okay? So, like always, we will tie everything back to astrology. I wanted to talk to you guys about my 30-day dating challenge that I did. Kind of want to spill the tea with you guys and kind of let you guys know what my dating life has been, especially as a queer woman living in South Florida specifically. I live in like Fort Lauderdale area. So, I literally went on like 6 dates in around 2 weeks, and I'm actually dealing with dating burnout, okay? Lesbian dating burnout. There was a lot of highs, some lows, learning things about myself, but also proud of myself for putting boundaries. Experiment is not really over because I'm still talking, chit-chatting, if you will say, and getting to know people. And I just really want to see what's out there. Like, I was single since over a year, but I haven't dated in a year. Basically, how this worked out was I moved into a new apartment in August. I felt settled into my apartment by October. I'm like, should I start dating? You know, I live by myself. My apartment is together. I feel solid at my job. You know, I feel pretty stable and at peace in my life. So I was like, should I start dabbling in the dating realm again? I was like going back and forth in my brain about it. Sometimes dating makes me want to
rip my hair out.
Or anytime I was in a relationship in the past, I literally became the worst version of myself. And when I'm single, I'm like a boss-ass bitch. And when I am in a relationship, I'm
pathetic.
Okay? But that's because all my relationships obviously weren't good relationships in the past. I'm waiting for like that relationship that brings out the best version of me. So that's like also another thing that I'm looking for when dating. Someone who brings out the good in me and is not draining my energy. I'm a very intuitive person. You know, I have a Cancer sun, Scorpio rising. So that has been a learning lesson for me throughout my life. If someone is draining my energy, or I feel like anxious, antsy, angry, irritated, jealous around people, you know, these negative feelings around people I'm dating, keep note of that. You know, that should have been a really big sign in the past for me that this person isn't for me, and I kind of disregarded my intuition. I have a Capricorn moon, so I'm a very intuitive person, but my Capricorn moon is like, yeah, but where's the proof? Where's the bullet points as to why, you know, you should leave this person? Because you're feeling something doesn't mean that it's true. So it's definitely been a life lesson of mine, like learning how to balance what's real and what's not, my emotions and my mind, my head versus heart. That has been a thing for me my whole life. And I really needed to take a break the past year and just focus on myself, get my shit together. And now I feel like I am possibly ready again, but sometimes I feel like I'm not since dating the past month or so. There's a lot of fears that are surrounding dating. The new moon in Scorpio just passed. It happened on like the 19th, 20th. There was a lot of like heavy reflection on, you know, your shadow side, your triggers, your fears. And I was just reflecting a lot on how a lot of my fears that I have currently is about romantic relationships and what does my future look like and what does my future partner look like, and really not wanting to repeat past cycles that I've been in already, being hyper aware of that. And sometimes I feel like because I'm so hyper aware that I am such an overthinker, I have close friends to me who have told me that, Serena, you are such an overthinker. I've actually had a therapist tell me this as well. Like, why are you overthinking? You just met this person. Why are you thinking about what marriage is going to look like? Like, just live in the present and take it day by day. And I'm like, how do I not think about the future when I'm dating someone? And in the past that I didn't think about that, I got fucked over. So I'm really learning how to balance, like, giving my heart to those who deserve it and leaving at the first red flag to those who don't. For the past year, you know, I needed to be single because not only did I have trust issues with other people, but I had trust issues with myself. I felt like I genuinely couldn't trust myself in the picking and the choosing process after being in back to back to back to back failed relationships, situationships. I really hit a rock bottom summer 2024, and I was like, wow, Serena, what are you doing? Like, honestly, what is even happening? I just felt like I kept running and running and running and hit my head against the wall from all that running, and it knocked me down straight to the ground. But one of my favorite quotes is, when you're at rock bottom, the only way to go is up. So I had to build myself up over a year actually. Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of wisdom. I feel confident. I feel good. It's contradicting because I also equally feel very fearful. It's hard for me to have casual romance because I'm a very intense person. I'm very much 0, 100. I'm like that with everything in my life. And I'm either like a fuck girl or head over heels, insanely in love with you. And I don't like either sides of those about me. With dating women, there's so many emotions, and I care about women's feelings. I don't want to hurt women's feelings. So there were time periods in my life where I was a fuck girl, and I felt bad being like that. And then periods in my life where I was like an extreme lover girl to the point of stupidity. And I also hated that. Moving with caution, going back to when I was pondering on if I wanted to date or not back in October, a sapphic dating app reached out to me, and they wanted to do a brand deal basically with me. I had to make videos and TikTok and Instagram videos about my experience using the apps, and I took that as a sign to start dating. I used it as like a social experiment. The app is reaching out to me and they're gonna pay me to go on dates. Like, fuck it, let's see what's out there. In my Capricorn moon brain, I was like, well, even if you get your feelings hurt, at least you got money in the bank. This is what I experienced. A lot of matches. I went on 6 dates within the past like 30 days. I'm still talking to one girl. Actually, I didn't meet this girl on the app. I met her through TikTok because she commented on one of my videos that I was posting for this brand deal about my dating experience, and that's how we met. So she lives up in Orlando. Actually, we haven't met in person yet. We are going to meet each other in person actually next week. So she is like really the only girl that I'm seriously talking to. I'm still chit-chatting on the apps or whatnot. The first girl that I met, she was a mask. She was in her 30s. Conversation was amazing. We were talking to each other, I think, for like 3 days straight before we actually met in person. Conversation was amazing. She lives maybe 25 minutes away from me, so it wasn't bad. Because, you know, with lesbians and queer women, it's like you gotta travel across the 7 seas to like meet the love of your life. So I was really trying to meet people within my area. I already have fears, let alone jumping into long distance relationships. I have met girls on TikTok where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so attracted to you. Like, I would love to see where this would go, but I have too many fears right now. And to add distance on top of that, just it's very nerve-wracking for me. I got a lot of walls. I got a lot of walls up. I'm slowly bringing them down, but definitely still weary. With this mask girl, she was like the first date that I've been on in a year, and I low-key got catfished. Right before Halloween, and we went to this Halloween-themed bar. I don't even think it was really like a proper date. It was just like, are you around? Are you around? Yeah. Okay, let's meet up. I walk into the bar. It's a gay bar too. Also, I see a girl, a lesbian, across the bar, and I'm thinking it's her. And I see her from her side profile, like the back, and I'm like, oh my God, she's fucking fine. I'm so nervous. I'm getting a drink at the bar. I'm texting her. I'm like, I'm at the bar. Like, you want to meet me at the bar? Like, I'm so Thank God I told her to come meet me at the bar, because I would have went up to the wrong bitch, and I would have been like, hey, and she would be like, who are you? So I'm thinking, like, I'm like, this girl is fine. Like, oh my God, like, what are the chances? Like, one of the first girls I'm talking to, I went on first date with, and like, this is my wife, this is my wife. Like, first date, oh my God, meant to be. Yeah, no. So like 5 minutes later, she taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around, and it wasn't who I initially saw at the beginning, who I thought it was. So the girl who I've been talking to taps me on the shoulder, I turn around, and at first I didn't even recognize her. And then it clicked to me who it was, and I was like, oh my God, hey. Immediately, I was like,
Did you just catfish me, Brown?
You don't even really look like your pictures, to be honest. Like, she just looked different. And immediately, I was like, fuck. but I wasn't gonna be mean. And I feel like I sound like such a bitch right now, but this is just brutal honesty. I'm just sharing my experience. I'm being vulnerable with you guys, okay? I was like, I'm just gonna fucking go with it. I'm gonna get drunk and have a couple of drinks. I don't care. But I was low-key a little pissed because there were so many hot girls out that night, and I was like, fuck. I wish I could talk to someone else right now, but I really wasn't gonna be mean. I actually like wanted to see it through. I wanted to see if the conversation would make up for like no instant chemistry, because I really don't have a physical type. Like if you know me, you know I don't have a physical type. I love conversation and personality over everything, and that was there, right? The conversation through the phone was there for the past couple days prior, but even in person, like there was just no chemistry, no physical attraction on my end. And like our humor wasn't matching. Like she would crack a joke and like her sarcasm, I just didn't understand it. There was a lot of fake laughing going on. No, I saw it through. She ended up getting really drunk. And the next day after we talked a little bit, then we just like didn't talk anymore. And she actually reached out to me 2 weeks later and she was like, listen, I'm so sorry that I got really drunk. You know, I would love to take you out on a proper date. I thought it was like mutual, to be honest, but really in actuality, the past 2 weeks, she was probably doing like somersaults in her brain that, fuck, I got too drunk, like I fucked this date up, and that wasn't really it. So I did feel bad that she thought that. I did respond back to her saying, don't even stress about that. Like I also got really drunk, but I only felt a friendship vibe when we met up. I would love to just stay friends, you know? So she is a really cool girl, but after that day, I looked her up on Instagram because I didn't have her Instagram. We were only talking for 3 days. When I realized that her profile pictures that she was using on dating apps were from like 2018, 19, and 20. So why are you doing that? I look different from 2018. 2018 Serena looks so different than what I look like now, you know? Put recent photos up on your dating profiles because you be looking different, babe. Like, you be looking different. Like, I feel like I low-key got catfish, even though it was her. Like, I low-key got catfish, you know what I mean? I was also at the same time talking to another girl. She's a bi femme, and she is a Leo. And if you know anything about me, Leos.
Having by my throat.
I love Leo placements, but they love to break my heart. My ex-girlfriend was a Leo, and then I've also dated like fucking 3 or 4 Leo risings and like another Leo in the past. Like, I don't know what it is about Leo placements, but I love Leo placements and they love me. They actually love me too. Leos love me. I don't know, something about the Scorpio rising that they love. I don't know what it is. As an astrologer, I will never X out a sign. You know, I will never be like, ugh, you're a Gemini, like, I hate you. But if there's one placement that is a no-go for me, just because I've learned so many lessons in my life, that is Leo rising. You can be the most attractive person ever. If you're a Leo rising, I've, you know, learned this karmic lesson enough in my life that the universe is like, Serena, you want to repeat a lesson? Here's a Leo rising. And this girl was a Leo. I was like, let me see it through. So we met, we got drinks at a happy hour for our first date. She is gorgeous and she looked like her profile. I was like, beautiful. At this point, I didn't know that she was bisexual. And when we were talking that date, she did tell me that she was bi. Now, bi women scare me a little, especially if a lot of their past recent relationships were with men, because I give switch energy, but I also like when my partner gives the same. If you're expecting me to be the man in the relationship or more masculine, that's just not me. That's not what I'm looking for. I was that in my past relationship, and I realized that's not what I like. That's not what I'm attracted to. That's not what's going to fulfill me long term. So that's a lesson I learned. A lot of women down here in South Florida will say they're bisexual, but they're really just trying to have sex with girls, and like they only take men seriously. They only seriously want to date men. And I'm not really playing that game, you know? Like I'm not here for that, you know? Fuck around with my heart and I'll fuck around with your tires and of your car. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not like that. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But yeah, I don't play those games. But the date went really good. Like, lasted 5 hours long of just straight conversation. We had a lot in common, but also not a lot in common at the same time. After the first date, I was so happy. I was so excited. I was like, that went so well. I sent her a long message after the first date, and I was like, when are you free again? Because I'm free this date, and this date. Like, when are we seeing each other again? I saw her 2 days later, and this date we walked our dogs in downtown Fort Lauderdale in Las Olas. We walked around, we got some lunch and coffee, and yeah, it was a chill date, but I could tell she had a lot of anxiety because her dog is a little bit more like triggered by things, so and aggressive, so she was definitely on top of her dog, and I was just like calming her down. You know, you don't need to worry about anything. Like, me and Blue are fine, you know, because her dog wasn't like biting Blue or anything, or wouldn't bite people, but just would growl and bark, and she was just getting really anxious about that. Yeah, it was a nice date, but after the second date, and the more that we talked and the more that I felt her energy and learned things about her, and also probably being fully sober on this date too, one thing that I recognized was she reminded me of one of my exes. And I was like, I don't know if that is a good thing. She's a great girl, very kind, sweet, genuine, but is younger than me, is still figuring things out, just like timid and scared to speak her mind and emotions. And the older that I get, because I'm 27, the more that I am just attracted to just more mature energy. I've always been attracted to people older than me. I've really only ever dated people older than me, minus my recent ex-girlfriend who was 2 years younger than me. And I realized that's what I want. Someone who is a little bit more solid in their life, because in all my past relationships, I'm like the person next to them helping build their future. And I'm like building something for someone else just to get left. Kind of over being the ride or die, you know what I mean? Because I died every single time. And I kind of just want to walk into someone's life and they're more put together and more confident within themselves. I have goals and ambitions. I'm working towards things, and I might not be exactly where I want to be, but I can show you proof of what I'm doing and what I'm working on. And I'm looking for someone like that as well. Even if they're not where they're exactly where they want to be, if you're showing me that you're working on something and there's a lot of ambitions and goals and more confident energy, and then I'm willing to see that through, but I didn't really see that there, and it kind of reminded me of past situations I was in, and I just wasn't really attracted to it. You know, it was still a really good date, but I was kind of like, I don't know if this is the universe sending me a sign, possible past pattern that I could be repeating, because I'm a big believer in that. The universe will present to you lessons that you've already learned to see if you have fully learned the lesson, and if you deny or reject that test, then you know, you're going to elevate and move on to the next level. But if you continue to like entertain the test, and then you're just going to wind up in another cycle. So I was kind of overthinking it a little bit afterwards, but I was still talking to her. So our third date, 5 or 6 days after that, and this was more of a romantic date. So she actually brought this date idea up, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So we painted on the beach, and she brought the painting supplies, and I brought like snacks and wines and stuff like that. I picked her up. I paid for the parking. I drove to the beach. I set everything up, and we were painting. It was a full moon too. It was a full moon in Taurus. It was really nice. It was going really well. Maybe a couple hours into the date, I had to pee so fucking bad. And at this point, we're like done painting. And I like so bad. I was like doing the pee-pee dance. I was like, listen, I don't want this date to end, but I have to pee really bad. We packed everything up. We put it in my car, and we went into the hotel that was by the beach. We used the bathroom, and I wanted to bring her to the bar upstairs because I used to work in this hotel. So I wanted to get like a couple of drinks, or maybe like if she wanted to get an appetizer or something like that. So we're continuing the date, and halfway through these cocktails, I'm noticing a vibe switch within her. And after the day, I was going back and forth in my brain if I said something that she didn't like or what, but I noticed a vibe switch, and it seemed like that she wanted to go home, or that she wasn't into this anymore. And at this point, it was like pulling teeth of trying to get a conversation. Like, we both had fucking 2 cocktails in front of her face. I'm not just gonna leave. Like, I'm gonna finish my cocktails, especially because I ended up paying for everything too. I ended up paying for the whole day. At this point, she's not really conversating that much, and I'm like, I don't know what I said. The only thing I could think of is like I mentioned, you know, just my past dating history in more detail of what went wrong in my 2 past girlfriends that I've had. And That's when I noticed a vibe switch after that. And I was like, did I talk about my exes too much? And I was like, no, I really didn't. Like, I kind of gave a bulletproof Spark Notes version of what happened with my last 2 exes. And I don't know if it's because she's a bi girl and she was intimidated that I have more experience with women and she has more experience with men, or what it is. I don't know. I can go back and forth trying to read in between the gray area, but I'm also overdoing that in my life too. I'm taking everything for what it is in black and white. I'm not Miss Decipher, read your mind over here. So I'm definitely over that era of my life as well. Now I'm talking to the bartender and people at the bar more than her, to be honest, because I don't know. I love sitting at the bar top. I'm a bartender. I love sitting at the bar top. I love sitting at the bar top because I love meeting people at the bar top. Because people who sit at the bar top most likely are very cool people. There was just a vibe switch after that. I was sensing, I don't know if I said something wrong. Felt like she wanted me to be more of a masculine figure in the relationship moving forward, and I just wasn't about that. On the car, I drive her home, and I pull up in a spot in front of her apartment. I pull up in the spot because I was like, can I park here? Because I wanted to park and like still talk to her more. But as soon as I pulled up and I parked in the spot, she like got out the car, and that was really it. She kissed me on the cheek. She even kissed me like on the mouth. And after that, I was like, all right, I don't know what is happening here. Clocked in my brain. I was like, on to the next, on to the next. Yeah, thank you, next. All right. I was just over it. Feel like what she's more attracted to or what she's looking for is not who I am, and I'm sick of constantly changing myself for other people, and vice versa. I feel like who she is just not what I'm looking for either, and I felt like it was mutual. After the date, we both didn't say anything to each other. I actually wanted to see if she would say anything to me because after the first 2 dates, I the one who texted her afterwards. After this third date, I was like, I'm not going to text her and let's see if she texts me. She didn't that night, but she did the next day. She said, thank you so much for the date yesterday. I had a good time. I responded back, me too. That was it. She hearted it. That was it. Then the day after that, she texted me again, and I forgot what she said. It was like a picture of her dog or something, like something random. And I was getting my lips done that day. So I sent her a picture of like me and my lips like being numb. And she responded back something, and I just didn't answer. And that was that. Now that's been like maybe a couple weeks now. I haven't heard anything, and no hard feelings on my part. I feel like I kind of maybe ghosted her. I don't know if she was just being nice and texting me after the date, or if she still wanted to see me and date me afterwards. But no. So I don't know if I ghosted her. Would you guys consider that ghosting? I don't know. I did have some people close to me be like, you didn't like tell her, it's just not working out. No. I felt like it was mutual. And if she didn't, then she could text me and, ask what's up. I really won't give people like an emotional explanation unless I'm seeing them for over a month. If it's under a month and we're talking under a month, I don't think it's that serious. And I don't really feel like I owe you anything, to be honest. I don't know. And, but if it really does bother you, like reach out to me, like, we can have a conversation, but I'm not going to go out of my way to have an emotional conversation if I feel like feelings are mutual and it's just not working. It is what it is. That was with Leo girl. I had another date with another girl. This girl, she lives in Miami. This was a shit show date. I fucked up on this date. I was a fuck up on this date, all right? I double booked this date by accident. I had plans with my coworkers a month in advance on this day. It was a Tuesday. Basically, Taco Tuesday. We happy hour hop in downtown, and we start at El Camino, so it's Taco Tuesday to us. So I still wanted to do both. Even though I had this date planned at 8 o'clock, we start happy hour hopping around like 4:30. So I pull up to my coworkers at like 4:30. I start drinking. At this point, I had to leave to go meet up with my date. I had to leave around like 7:30. And we were going to meet at an in-between spot at a rooftop bar in Hollywood. Earlier in the day, I looked up the place just to get the address, and I realized that the place closed at 9 and not 10 o'clock. So I did reach out to her earlier in the day, and I was like, oh shit, like, I'm so sorry. I know I picked this rooftop place, but it closes at 9. I thought it closed at 10. We're going to be there for an hour. Do you want to do that? She said, yeah, we can still do that. We can like go somewhere else after. I was like, okay. Like, I'm a bartender. I'm like, we're going to show up late. We're going to be annoying. Like, that, I was like, ugh. And then 2, I'm with my coworkers drinking. I'm having a good time. Now I'm having FOMO because my coworkers are still still have plans to like go out and stay out. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to leave this day. I don't want to go on this date low key. So I already was having like bad feelings. But I was like, I have to go. I'm not going to bail on this girl. This girl is already en route to go to the rooftop. I called 2 Ubers. They both canceled on me. So now it's almost 8 o'clock. I texted her hoping that she's going to cancel on me because I said, I'm so sorry. I've been out with my coworkers. I had plans of Ubering to you in Hollywood, but all my Ubers are canceling on me. Do you just want to meet me in Fort Lauderdale? She said, yeah, I'll come meet you. Okay. So we go to Moxie's. I sent her my location. At this point, I'm a little drunky, okay? I sent her my location and I'm like, this is where I'm at. So remember this part because she has my location. I shared it for like 24 hours or something like that. So she meets up with me. It's maybe like almost like 8:39 and I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, this girl's a real one, okay? Like, she's driving from Miami to Fort Lauderdale to come. Like, I switched up the date. Like, you know, she's a real one for this. She's cute, down to earth. We're talking. I hate to say this. I'm going to sound like a bitch, bro. But, like, I was so bored. I was so bored. I already had a bad feeling before, and I should have just canceled. Things that we were talking about, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm over this. I just kept thinking of how I just wanted the date to end. I feel so bad. And I ended up getting really fucking drunk because in my brain, I'm already tipsy. So my drunk brain, I'm like, maybe if I drink more, I'll have a better time. So I just kept drinking more. I got so drunk. I was that type of drunk that I forgot that I closed out. I'm like at the bartender, like, hey, can I close out? And she's like, babe, you closed out already. And I'm like, okay. I also got so drunk on this day that I started speaking Spanish in the Uber and drinking dirty martinis. Let it be known, I don't speak Spanish and I hate dirty martinis. That's how drunk I got on this date. I feel so bad. I was also drinking dirty martinis and I was chomping on the olives like it was a fucking Saturday night buffet. Like, that is a garnish, Serena. That is not a 5-course meal. I was eating olives out the ass. I don't even like olives. I hate dirty martinis. Like, this is how drunk I got. I got so drunk, I actually barely remember leaving this date. At some point during this date, we had guys coming up to us. We're both femme queer women, and we had 2 dudes bother us almost the whole night on this date, saying that being a lesbian isn't real. Girls always end up with guys. I don't believe that you're on a date. Prove it to me that you're on a... Like, I got so fucking mad that we had to leave that bar. So I brought it to another bar. I'm bringing it to Tin Roof. We had a shot. That shot took me over the edge. That was a bad idea. But I remember being like, it's dead here. Like, you know, downtown is dead. You have work tomorrow. You should just start heading home. I'm going to go home. We were on this date for like not even 2 hours at this point. So she goes home, and where do I go? I meet up with my coworkers at the Hard Rock. And I probably acted like a douchebag that night, like a drunk asshole. I feel really bad. She texted me the next day. She goes, just so you know, I still had your location, and I saw that you went to the Hard Rock after our date and that you didn't go home. I said, sorry about that. I sure did. Yeah, nice knowing you. And have a good life. It was nice meeting you. I feel bad. Maybe the date would have went completely different if I was sober. Like, I don't know if things were just, if the wheels were turning incorrectly in my drunk brain about her, but something about it that night, I just wasn't with it. I wasn't about it. And she was attractive. She was cute. It's not like she was like busted or anything. I feel like I was the fuck up that date. Like, she probably went home with her and told her friends that I had like a date from hell after that. So I feel that. But what are you gonna do? You win some and you lose some. Another date that I went on, and this was like an online date too. Hear this shit. So this is a mask girl. So she matched with me down here in Fort Lauderdale because she was just on vacation down here, but she's like lives in Georgia or something. So we're chit-chatting a little bit. She purchases an astrology reading from me. And we kind of had a date like through the phone this way. I kind of gave her like a reading. We got to know each other because she's in Georgia. I thought it was going really well. Like, I was really attracted to her or whatever. I liked that she purchased a reading. I'm a nerd about astrology. Yeah, so it was going well. I recently found out that she still lives with her ex-girlfriend. So, Yeah, no, that's a no for me, dog. Like, I'm so sorry. I also did like peep some red flags here and there. She has a Scorpio moon. You gotta tread lightly with Scorpio moons. I've been burned by Scorpio moons in the past before. There's just a lot of emotions, and if a Scorpio moon isn't healed, they will fuck your life up. Like, like the ultimate type of betrayal. And we weren't even talking that frequently, to be honest. The more the conversations that we had, the more that I was like, yeah, you're gonna fuck me up. You're gonna fuck me up, and I'm just not about it. So I'm glad that she told me that she still lives with her ex and they're trying to figure something out, because that was the icing on top of the cake where I was like, bah ho. I am really only talking to one person. I call her Miss Scorpio because she has a Scorpio stellium, and which is intriguing. I've like briefly dated a Scorpio moon back when I was like 18 years old, but it was a guy. I never really fucked with a girl who had Scorpio placements before, so I'm intrigued and I'm curious, but yeah, I want to see where it goes. She lives up in Orlando, like what I said. We're meeting each other next week, so I will keep you guys updated with how that goes. Yeah, I like her style. She dresses femme, she dresses masc. I really am attracted to that, and I'm attracted to just like the energy that she's giving of she's coming down here to see me. Like, she's putting a lot of effort. Also, we've been talking for like 3 weeks straight, and the conversation has never died down. It's never boring. You know, we can always find something to talk about, and I really like that. So I'm curious to see what it's like in person, because right now she just feels like Plankton's wife to me. You know, like it feels like I'm just talking to like my phone. I need to feel someone's energy and see them in person for me to see if I want to take this seriously and move forward. I definitely still have a lot of walls up, I will say. And I feel bad about that, but it's because I'm waiting to meet her in person. I want to see what the vibe is like, what the chemistry is like. Because for all that we know, you know, I witnessed one of the first dates that I went on, the chemistry was amazing through the phone. And then in person, it was garbage. It was caca. So I have just been thinking about that in my brain, and it's really important for me to feel the energy of someone. I'm going to keep an open mind, but it's just so interesting because I went on so many dates when Venus was transiting through Libra, and it was almost like clockwork. When Venus entered Scorpio, I kind of dealt with dating burnout and I needed to take a break, which is interesting because Venus in Libra is definitely way more of like a extroverted, flirty, social type of aspect. And then Venus moves into Scorpio and it's more like introverted, introspective, deep, like not caring about the surface level, like really only wanting to build like deep emotional bonds. And I've definitely been feeling that way. And it's like my break between dating since Venus has been in Scorpio. But when Miss Scorpio comes to see me, Venus in Scorpio will be touching my Scorpio rising, which is a really nice time for like love opportunities, meeting people, going on dates, money opportunities as well. Like, I love Venus through the first house, especially when it's like touching your rising sign. So I am curious to know what next week is going to look like with Miss Scorpio, because I do like that aspect for me. She also has a Scorpio rising too, which is good. Like, we're both going through a Venus in the first house transit, but it's also Mercury retrograde right now too. So I'm going to tread carefully and, you know, not have too much of a high expectation and not wear the rose-colored glasses. I'm going to stay like grounded, but I'm definitely going to keep an open mind because I'm very curious. And I feel like just like her efforts of trying to get to know me the past 3 weeks, she deserves me being open-minded and having an open heart and like giving this a shot. Like, she's a great person and I want to give that to her. So yeah, I want to see where it goes and I will keep you guys updated. Going through some dating burnout the past like week or so, and I definitely needed a break, but she's starting back up again. She's starting back up again next week. A part 2 to this. I definitely want to keep dating around more, and I'm going to make an episode of the lesbian dating scene in South Florida. I need to gather some more experiments up to let you guys know, but it's been fun. It's been a whirlwind. I haven't experienced anything like too fucking crazy, which, knock on wood, I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm gonna end this episode, guys, because I have to start getting ready for work, but thank you guys for chit-chatting with me, and I will see you guys in next week's video.